Here we go, round number 18 of the Lewis Hamilton career mode on F1 24 takes us to the final flyaway round of the calendar. Singapore is on the agenda here today. This one, of course, a very tricky circuit, which has been simplified with the layout change last season. Now guys, if you haven't seen the previous episode, check it out, link in the top right at Baku, spoiler warning ahead. But let's get into it and let's start off the episode recapping the last race. Now, as you guys know, we once again had a component failure, and unlike in the past where it was always the gearbox, this time it was actually the engine. So we'll address that in a bit. You can see we took a bit of a hit on the focus, also experience, but generally no huge change. Also recognition unchanged as well. So yeah, not ideal. We still gained on other areas, specifically our specialists, so we're still kind of improving those. Manufacturing nearly level 3 now, which is really good. And speaking of which, we're going to set the goal for this weekend to drive 161 kilometers during the weekend. Also for wind tunnel, we're going to basically open DRS for more than 55 seconds during the race weekend. And then power unit consultant, pretty straightforward, finish in a better qualifying spot than George Russell. And then finally, the last one available for us this weekend is going to be the quality assurance tester. And for this one, lift and coast for more than 30 seconds during a race weekend. So with that done, specialists locked in. We already did upgrades, guys, at the end of the previous episode, so go watch that, link in the top right. Again, go see it, it was at the end of the video. But this one, we confirm that the failed component was the turbocharger. So we go on to our last unit. We have 7 races to go, so hopefully we can make it without any more engine penalties. With that done, we look at this weekend's kind of, assessment. We have no rain on the forecast. We have an upgrade for the engine power, but a failure on the energy store reliability. So the big thing is McLaren. They've taken a massive step. Now, we know there's a regulation change brewing. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's coming. And McLaren are just going full steam ahead. We've come off the back of 2 consecutive back-to-back DNFs, which hasn't been great for the title. However, Verstappen hasn't really capitalized on those results. So because of that, we still have a decent shot at winning the title, and we're still very much in the fight. So with that done, we jump into practice. Now we do have a bit of a worn out ICE. Also the MGUK and the MGUH are pretty knackered as well. So we're going to try and squeeze this race out because it's not really a power circuit.
Okay, test complete, and that was a really good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Well done.
And then hopefully once we get through this race weekend, we can then move on to the next race, get some new components in, some fresh components in, a bit more power, and see how that goes. Now tyre wear was excellent, really good throughout the race runs. Fuel burn a bit higher than what we've had in a while, so we'll have to manage that in the race and bear that in mind. So with that done, we had a successful practice, P8 behind Piastri, also on medium, so that kind of highlights where our pace might be. We scored maximum points in that practice session, so a good start to the weekend, bringing our points total to 674, and then of course on top of that we also have the discounts, which will also help us out, and also driver rating, which we gain experience, but our other stats are basically unchanged. So practice done, let's get into qualifying and let's see how things turn out at Marina Bay.
It is one of our great cinematic settings of the season. Welcome to Singapore. We're under the floodlights with the walls close and pole position up for grabs.
Q1 on the agenda, and this weekend we are doing cockpit view. I forgot to mention it before, but just like in Monaco, I thought we'd throw in a bit of a challenge and again go for it in a different camera view and just see how things pan out. So currently you join me at the end of my first timed lap in the session. Now we're looking okay so far, it's been a pretty tidy lap, no dramas really, and now making our way through the final 2 corners. Bit wide there, the kind of curve on the inside pushed us out a bit wide, but we go P5, 127.2, Piastri currently P1 on a 27.0, so that kind of gives you an idea of where we're at pace-wise. You can see McLaren with the upgraded package 1-2 at the minute, so they're looking very strong, but the gaps are really close actually, and the field spread in the top half is pretty tight. We've got a pretty decent gap here to the rest of the cars behind, the Formula B especially, P11 onwards, so we're going to retire and take no further part in Q1. Save the engine a bit, and also, of course, save tyres. And you can see we go through, but Norris actually went back out and went quicker, 26.4. So a pretty decent lap there from Lando in that session. So yeah, we now join the action in Q2. Fresh tyres on our car, and we almost hit that wall on the right hand side there. We had to quickly steer out of it, and that was a pretty close shave. Either way, looking now at our second sector split, we don't have any reference in the top left, but if you compare that to our Q1 lap time, we are up by quite a few tenths. So we're looking pretty decent here to hopefully set a PB. The question is, will it challenge Norris's 26.4 in Q1 as a baseline? Making our way through the right-left chicane after the new back straight, brushing the wall on the way out, and now into the final corner, throwing the car in 6th gear, opening DRS, and we set a 26.7, which is P1 for now. Still 3 tenths off that time from Norris though in Q1, so that kind of highlights, McLaren have a bit more up their sleeve. Now, I didn't go back out, pace was enough to get through. I was watching George, who was in a bit of trouble, but also managed to get through, and you can see the big surprise elimination was Sergio Perez in P13. He was just ahead of Russell, stuck behind, I believe, an RB car. That might have been Tsunoda, and that's the person who's knocked him out. So Alonso's setting the pace now, 26.5, but we know what the benchmark is from Lando in Q1. So with that said, into Q3, we brushed the wall as we begin the lap there on the final corner, but now DRS open as we head down towards the first corner. We're going to get 2 attempts in this session, so this is going to be the first one. Through turn 1, bit of a correction there on the steering as I went in a bit too early. We pull it back nicely though and keep the car under control. Turn 3 exit, absolutely critical. Turn 4, bring the car to the left, and then really try and attack that curb on the entry, and then run the car wide to get a good exit down the back straight, Raffles Boulevard. On the anchors, you want to try and spot the 100 and brake just after, so about 80 meters. 4th gear, use the curbs to advantage, and now back on the brakes for this sharp 90-degree right. Smooth on power as you then hold it in 4th through this long left, and now get back on the taps, back on the gas, heading towards turn, I believe, 10, I think it is. Now into the right-left chicane, little tap of the inside curb to rotate the car, and then across Anderson Bridge. On the brakes, into the hairpin 2nd gear, get your apex, and then open up the steering to get the power down ASAP on exit. Exit absolutely crucial here to get a smooth one. Then back on the anchors, 100 meter board, just after, so about 90 meters for that one, and then use all the runoff as we make our way down the back straight. Keep it within track limits, of course, as we now take a breather. And now one more chicane remains. Brake at the Aramco sign, down to 4th, clip, and then avoid the wall on exit. And now the final corner, just send it in, use the downforce, trust the car, and then across the line we go, opening DRS, and there's a 1:25.995, and that is a benchmark and a half, a very strong lap there. And to be fair, there wasn't really any big mistakes besides, just turn 1, a slight correction. You can see purple in sectors 1, 2, and then sector 3, Norris currently quickest of everyone. So a very good lap, but we have one more set of tyres, so let's go for it. 30 seconds on the clock. We're going to go one more time here in qualifying and look to improve as everybody is currently on a lap. So turn 1, this time we get the turn-in point absolutely on the money. Turn 3, I went in a little bit tight, a little bit early, but we do get a really good exit and we find some time. Now then, into turn 4, 4th gear, again, clip the inside curb, aggressive, let the car run wide, and look at that, we are 600ths up, and a pretty decent first sector, as we're 3/4 of a tenth up now at the split. Purple in sector 1 as we get on the brakes, but we just run it in a bit too deep, and I tried to hang on to it, but we just ran wide. So we're going to keep pushing. Checkered flag drops, everyone now crossing the line, and I actually realised this right now, looking in the bottom left, and I saw that everyone finished their laps, so we don't have to improve. We can save these tyres for the race because pole is ours. We've got it locked in. That first lap was enough. Nobody else really improved. Norris did do a 0.1, so he found 3 tenths over his PB. Piastri P2, so McLaren looking very strong. And crucially, our rival Max Verstappen P4, and then Leclerc P5. So yeah, there's your running order for qualifying. Another pole, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered after the last couple of races where we've struggled with reliability. The question is though, qualifying, job done. Can we get to the end of the race? Will the car hold up?
It's the Singapore Grand Prix, where Sebastian Vettel has the most wins here with 5. Who will be lifting the trophy today here at the Marina Bay Circuit? One of the interesting things about this circuit was the fact that we went under the grandstand. Well, not at the moment. The track layout has been reduced to 3 miles. Turn 16 and 19 are lost for the moment. We now have a straight there. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Tsunoda, Albon, Ocon, Perez, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Gasly, Bottas, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Stroll, Zhou, Sainz, and Logan Sargent. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. It is going to be some race today. I'm Alex Jakes. Joining me is Naomi Schiff. Well, it's all about forgetting last time because that was a bit of a shocker. How did they change the story today?
It is true, they had a really tough day in the office last time out, but they cannot dwell on that. It's so important to turn the page and start on a blank slate, because the more you dwell on that, the less it's going to push you in the right direction. So take some notes. Obviously, there's things to be learned, but move on.
Main event time here at Singapore. Time for the race, starting from pole. Now, strategy for this one is going to be a pretty standard one-stop. Medium to hard tyre. Again, we might box earlier because the hard basically lasts a long time, so we can bring the stop forward if we want to. If not, we'll try and go long and manage the race. The key objective here is to hopefully clear the Formula B kind of pack of cars. So that basically opens up the pit window and we have no traffic to overtake. So until that happens, we're likely not going to box because we want to try and get that gap hopefully built up. Now, fuel-wise, I'm going for 0.2. Extra of a lap should be fine. Around here, we have a decent fuel sim from the race runs in practice. So yeah, generally, everything looks good. My big concern, as you know, was the last 2 races and we had reliability trouble. So we need this race to hopefully be smooth. 3 DNFs in a row would be catastrophic. So hopefully the car holds up. Either way, let's get into it. Let's try and convert into a win and hopefully re-establish our championship lead. Now, for those of you that didn't see the grid rundown, Max Verstappen is starting P12, a grid drop. So even more reason to hopefully finish this race. Doesn't matter where, just hopefully finish in the points, because we can potentially outscore our main championship rival. So let's line her up and get into it. Right then, here we go. Lights on. And away we go.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Good start. We keep the McLarens behind. I think they'll be pretty quick in race trim. Their upgrades seem to have worked really well. Russell up to P4. Good for the constructors. We're going to have to maybe defend here because we don't have the best straight line speed. Piastri having a look. We'll just leave our car in the middle of the track. Russell now making moves and Piastri down to P5. Yellow flag. I'm not sure if something happened back there, or green flag now, so a brief issue, but back on our way then. Norris P2, Russell with a great start to P3 then, really good. Exactly what we need for the Constructors' Championship with both Red Bulls out of position here. I don't think we're going to break DRS on Norris. I can try, but I think it's going to be tricky. Let's lock in and try to hopefully build a bit of a gap before the back straight on the next lap when DRS gets enabled.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Side by side, Norris had a look into turn 1. I thought he might have just waited, but he's gone for it. I feel like I don't have a lot of pace right now. And also we're burning through our fuel a bit quicker than I expected, so this isn't great. Norris is very close this time. We're going to use everything. But will it be enough? Norris to the outside, leaving room. Now we're on the outside. Can we get the car straightened up quick. Nope, Norris goes through for now. Just haven't felt as comfortable compared to qualifying on the lighter fuel. Seems like on the heavy fuel I'm just not feeling as quick. Track limits. That was marginal, but a silly one to get so early on. Bit of a snap there. Luckily, we held it pretty well. Personal best. The car feels a bit better on 56 brake bias in the race trim. Also, just being in DRS is so overpowered. You can keep up so easily. Just going to try and see if we can hopefully get through a few laps, get through some of the fuel, and hopefully the car will feel better on a lighter fuel load. We are still burning through our fuel though, so I'm a little bit concerned. I won't manage too heavy just yet. We'll save fuel in the pit stop, but I will just try and manage and keep it kind of where it is without using any more.
Okay, Lewis, Lando's ahead of you now. We can't let them hold us up for too long, so let's try and get past as soon as possible and crack on. Push, push.
Okay, we'll have a look at some point. I'm going to give it as long as possible, really, to let the race come to me with a bit more of a lighter car. Russell was getting dropped a little bit on that last lap, so he's struggling to keep up with the pace of us. To be fair, Norris is setting a really good pace. If you look further back, Formula B, there's a bit of a split happening now, so the field is starting to open up, which is what we want for our pit strategy. Russell out of DRS, by the looks of it. Wasn't able to keep up on that lap, so I think Alonso now might go through.
Okay, just follow the safety car. Don't worry about the target now. Okay, the safety car is out. Safety car is out. We need to form up at reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive. Information on Ocon. Okay, it looks like the problem's terminal. They're retiring the car.
Right, well I think
Okay, we can take you this lap.
we should box and basically get our stop out the way. It's amazing, isn't it? No safety car in this entire career mode, and we get two in a couple of races. Looks like everyone's going to follow. I just hope Russell pits as well and stacks rather than stays out. Going speed. There we go. Right. Yep, everybody in.
Okay, George is coming in for his stop.
It's going to be chaos in the pit lane. Chaos. Okay, that's not too bad. That wasn't too bad. Hopefully George can get away. We've got enough of a gap to Formula B where we can basically benefit, you know, from this stop and not lose too much ground. Interestingly, Red Bull keep their cars out.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
I think that's suicide, personally, but I could be wrong. So Checo, P1, Verstappen, P2. Obviously Red Bull can't go to the end, they have to stop. But they did start on hard, so I guess it makes sense, you know, they have to kind of take the pain because they probably wouldn't get mediums to the end. So Russell also losing out to Leclerc and Piastri, so obviously with a double stack, that's what's going to happen. So yeah, this could be interesting. Now a bit more of a mixed up restart. Alonso's a pretty fast target as well, he's been pretty quick this season, so we'll see how this all kind of pans out. The safety car is so slow, it's just impossible to warm tyres up. Right then, restart time. We'll try and get some tyre temp on this straight, but I don't know how much we're going to get before the restart, so we're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage on cold tyres. Got a little bit of temperature in there, but we're still nowhere near, so we'll see. Let's get into hot lap anyway. We'll have to take it easy. We might be dangerous in a few laps time, but on this restart we're going to be a bit of a sitting duck. Just hope Alonso doesn't get too close.
Green flag.
Right then, back underway. And in theory, no more stops. We're going to the finish. So obviously Red Bull have to box. They'll be in over the next, I'd say, 7-8 laps. So if we don't pass, there's no need to panic. That's when the race will open up. Norris won't have DRS, and then he'll be exposed.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
At the minute, trying to defend from Alonso here. Tyres are still not up to temperature. Had a big snap through turn 4. Here we go.
Okay, Lewis, lap times are a little erratic at the moment. Let's try and close up the difference between them.
Whoa, Verstappen with a huge moment. That could be massive for the championship. Verstappen putting a move on Perez. The overspeed just didn't have the grip or didn't get the car stopped. Went straight on, and I think has dropped to last place. So Now this race is really, really huge for our championship. If we can just bring this home. That corner again every time. I can't properly see the line, obviously. I can't tell, but we need to be careful now for the rest of this race. Norris on Perez, here we go. Into turn 1, he's not waiting around. Nowhere to go for us, just going to have to wait and pick up the pieces. Norris gets it done on the traction, but now Perez will have DRS. We might have a chance here to get them both if the straight's long enough. On the battery, on the DRS. Norris weaving. Just not possible to go through. Norris goes round the outside and gets it done. Perez has a snap. Thought about it there, but now Alonso's having a look around the outside. This might allow Norris to escape. We've got to try and pass Perez ASAP. Let's see if we can try and get him on the next DRS straight, or maybe even into the hairpin. A little bit far back, I can't really go for it here. Gonna get the car turned early. Good traction. DRS, battery, come on. Around the outside. Nice, into the corner where we got 2 track limits on the outside. Luckily we kept it tidy. I used all my battery here, so don't really have anything else to burn. So Norris currently out of my DRS range. We're gonna have to work to try and get back in. This won't be easy, but we'll try. Bit of a lock up there, trying to push. Just can't quite get in at the moment. We're on for a personal best. We go a little bit quicker, but Alonso's the quickest of the 3. It's game on here at Singapore.
Green flag.
Not sure, that might be Perez. I know Leclerc tried to put a move on. Piastri's got through as well. We've got it. We've got DRS. Critical. Alonso will likely also join the party. Oh. Lost DRS again. Norris is not giving this up. He's pushing. And now Alonso's in my DRS.
Okay, clear.
Another possible
Safety
yellow.
car, safety car. No overtaking. Reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up.
Right. What do we do here then? I reckon we can stop again, you know. I mean, tyres ain't really worn, but we've got another set of mediums. We can take a cheap stop.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
I'm going to take a chance. And hopefully have better tyres for the end of the race. I feel like, you know, everyone's going to struggle in their tyres. I pressed the wrong button. Damn it. I think this is worth a gamble. Let's see. Red Bull will finally pit. We might... I might have got this wrong actually. I think we had more of a gap than this, but I might have got this wrong. I wanted to have fresher tyres, but it's going to backfire. Oh, this has backfired massively. What have I done? What have I done? I was hoping to have fresher tyres to basically challenge. I thought I'd rejoin somewhere like P7, but I didn't really calculate the safety car delta correctly. Norris caught the safety car, so the delta goes away, which means everyone drives flat out. I haven't worked this out right. I've completely fumbled this. Well, everyone's on hard tyres ahead of us, so we've got a good chance here to make some inroads. We've got a good car. I don't think we can win the race now, but I still think we can fight. I think we've got plenty of time to make moves. I can't get any tyre temperature at the minute. We're just going so slow back here. Anyway, 2 track limit warnings, and we need to fight our way back into the points. Don't know how many of these guys are on hards, but it's enough. We should be still quicker. We just need to be brave and commit to moves. So let's get to it. We'll have a bit cold tyres. We might be under pressure from the Red Bulls here, as they have had a free stop to basically get back in the race, but we'll see if they're as good as overtaken as I am. Here we go.
Green flag.
tyres will warm up quite quickly. Contact with signs there. Going so slow. Get a warning for our troubles. But we go through.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Sonoda next. Long way round. Good move. This is the time to strike. Brand new medium tyres. Joe up next. Wasting no time. Straight up the inside. And now Hulkenberg. Not going to get him here, I don't think. Oh, thought about it. Just didn't really commit enough. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer here. We might have a chance out of this right-hander. If we square up the exit. We're literally pushing him. Now get the overtake on. Up the inside. And that's us back in the points. Quick recovery. Ricardo next up. And DRS will now be enabled. We're going to have such a big tyre advantage for the race.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
And obviously all these guys are in Formula B, so we're going to be way quicker than these lot. But we can't get Formula A get away, so we've got to try and cut through these quickly. Ricardo goes defensive, we get the switch back. Get the drive. DRS on. We're going to run out of deployment here, so we're going to have to nail this on the brakes around the outside.
Lewis, lap times are a little erratic at the moment. We need consistency, so let's try and stabilise them.
Oh, I saw a track limit penalty there. I had to really get on the brake. Big run on Magnussen. Going to try and see if I can get this into turn 1. Up the inside. Taking a very narrow line there, but we get through. Couldn't really get through any earlier. We had to kind of recharge battery. We're now in medium because we've used everything on our previous overtakes, so we're kind of just going through a bit of a recharge phase. On the inside of Gasly. Leaving room, he's still there, but we go through. He's trying to lock on and he's going back through. We outbrake him. Pinch him into the curb. That's P7 now. And let's dispatch Albon, who's the last one. This should be like taking candy from a baby. Battery, DRS. Straight through. Thank you. And now we go up against our Formula A rivals, all on the hard tyre, of course. So I think this now will work out. I think the strategy is going to work out. Had to get through more cars than I expected, but now we're going to be quick for the rest of this race. See tyres looking pretty good, Nick. We'll level out on tyre wear around lap 25, 26 I reckon with the AI, but the inherent grip of the medium might just give us the edge. Alright, we've arrived. Clean air, purple middle sector. Half a second up on our already fastest lap of the race. So we're looking really good now. Now we've got to try and dissect all these guys, which of course are in quicker cars, so it won't be as easy as the previous. Bit of a wall hit there as we make our way for the final corner. That should hopefully wrap up the extra point. The question is, how many more can we get? The first stop is going to be our teammate, George Russell. I think we might have a shot here on the back straight. But all these guys have DRS on each other, which is not optimal. Here we go. Russell's pulling away. I don't believe it. Oh dear, wing damage, very, very slight.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Okay, maybe we got away with it. It says nothing on the radio, but the MFD came up. So maybe that was tyre wear they gave us. We hit tyres, so I got some extra front right tyre wear. Not sure, but I mean, you all saw the MFD flash up. I thought I got damage. Car feels okay, so I think we've survived the scare.
Okay, really, really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
George out of DRS, so he'll be an easy target now. When we pass him, that will reconnect the train and it will bring him with us. Here we go. We'll set him up through here. Now this should be easy. Hopefully he doesn't move. There we go, straight through. So back into P5. Piastri. Next target. I think we might have a shot here. On Oscar. He defends. Oh, nailed it around the outside. Straight through. Beautiful move. The confidence under braking there to just get the car stopped. Brings us to P4. We can win this. We might have a shot here again. We're just very strong in Sector 3. A little bit further back from Leclerc, but we can still try and challenge. Nope, Leclerc doesn't take the bait, doesn't go defensive. Maybe into turn 1 if we get a good last corner. Using some battery. Trying to get close. Here we go. Not quite. Oh, there we go. Forced a mistake. Beautiful. Straight through. And that's P3. I'd say now we're about level on tyre wear. We've used up the better part of our mediums. I can feel now we're not quite as good on traction. Norris on Alonso, but doesn't quite commit. These two battling might just open the door for us. I want to try and stay close on this lap and see if we can put some pressure on. Here we go. Norris with the run on Alonso. Oh, lots of moving under braking. Alonso runs deep. We might have a chance here. Outside. Alonso's still there. Oh my god. Whew. Rears are starting to give out, but we go through. And that's P2. And we resume the battle for P1 with Norris, just like before the pit stop. Last lap. Last chance saloon. This is it. We still have the grip over Norris. He's on very old hard tyres now. He's flashing. He's got nothing on deployment. It's easy. It's really easy. P1. Job done. We survive a bit of a dodgy strategy on my end. Completely wrong call, but luckily it still actually worked out. The tyre grip was so good and we carved through, and we're going to come through to win a huge race.
Congratulations to the team. Thank you so much for your consistent efforts. This is an amazing result for everybody.
What a driver! Lewis Hamilton takes the victory!
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everyone played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Now that is an absolutely massive race, not just in the drivers but also in the Constructors' Championship. A 1-5 for myself and for George, which means no Red Bull in the top 10, no points scored, so that is going to have massive ramifications in the title fight. So let's scroll down. Red Bull finished P18, P15, an absolute disaster from Red Bull, which does mean if we go to the standings, we are 27 points clear from Max Verstappen, and there's only, I think, 6 races left to go. George, P6, ahead of Perez, so we're both beating our respective driver rivals, which does mean if we're ahead of both Red Bulls, it does also mean the constructors, we are now 30 points clear. The biggest lead of the season, Mercedes back on top, and who knows, we could be on for a double title, and it's our exit season from Mercedes before going to Ferrari next year. So yeah, absolutely insane. McLaren, Aston Martin are in the ascendancy, and they look very strong, and you can see they're cutting the gap to Ferrari for third, and generally even Red Bull I wouldn't say maybe are safe at this rate. So we'll see what happens. Either way, it's absolutely insane. It's red hot in both titles, and it's all to play for. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. A really huge race in the title fight, absolutely massive. On screen you're going to have, of course, the post-race driver ratings, getting very close now, possibly even leveling up to 92. I don't actually know, I haven't seen it yet, but we should be very, very close. And then of course our driver perks leveling up as well, and our rivalry versus Verstappen is looking really good. So yeah, everything is coming up, you know, Tom 97 at this stage. It really is working out. The specialist also leveling up, and yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next, guys. So cheers for watching, hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, a big shout out to the members. Check out the 2 videos on screen along with the links down below in the description for discounts and affiliate codes. And yeah guys, that is it for Singapore. We go to the next one.